Soon, perchance. But oh well. Let's work with what we have, shall we? Let's just set up my Spotify real quick. There we go. Oh, right, Discord. Hmm. Does it say I'm streaming? Oh, no, it doesn't actually. There we go. There we go. Okay, everything should be set up. Almost. Almost. Hi, chat. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's like it took an extra a day or two from the usual. Hi there, darling. Hi there, Gus. Reem, Exodus, Black Wolf. We have Game the Blob, Cones, and why if it isn't Matthew? Thanks. The fireworks isn't around 37 minutes, isn't it? I bet it's gonna be a spectacular show. Well, relative to how it was like last year, it. mm, I hopes are a little higher this time. I really hope it's all that it was hyped up to be. I really hope. You know, I was supposed to stream at the dealers then, but did you know the benches actually have colliders on them and you can't disable them? I'm like, how am I supposed to sit the way I am right now? It's unlike here in the lobby. Maybe they're like, maybe Gambos is gonna go loiter in the dealer's den. Let's go disable it. Oh, the camera's a little cropped, isn't it? Mhm. There we go. Be better. Whoopsie daisy. Hi, Detective Magic. It's just, is it because of the outfit? It's still just my coat and my same pants. Nothing new, really. Very difficult to post properly. Play spacing down too much. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. When I like to try to drag myself down, if only. But yeah, chat. Oh my goodness, my voice seems are on. We find ourselves in another evening where it's not much going on. Thank goodness. Let's just say 300 plus days of recouping my social battery got depleted in a 3-hour meetup. That's from the Southeast Asia one. Good people, just very rowdy. Absolutely rowdy. Mm. Oh, I need to put that on my status, shouldn't I? Streaming. How do I change that? Hello? I can't. Come on, buddy, work with. I guess I can't change my VI status. I'm clicking it and nothing's happening. Hi, Axiom. Nice to see you. It's been a while. That's a nice tie, Gebo, says Danny. You remind me of an old friend of mine. I wonder how she is. Hope she's doing okay. Oh, she's playing the saxophone well. You're about to sleep, says Axiom. Oh dear, and here you are, you're gonna miss the once a year forality stream from Gab. To be fair, there's nothing exciting going on. I'm quite alone in this instance. Hmm. Oh, hi there, driver. Oh, I guess I'm not alone. What's this? Hey, Gib, my internet is kind of bad right now, but how are you? I just woke up from a incomplete cycle of sleep, but I couldn't sleep any further. As much as I want to, my attempts at being unconscious isn't being successful. Vesper says better to be mostly alone than to have somebody random interrupt stream. You know, to be fair, I am treading on public slash dangerous waters and people could join at any moment. I just saw a Japanese instance that was empty and I said, why don't I join? And then let's see. I think the lobbies are going to be really full later, given that the fireworks show is in half an hour. Hmm. You know. Without a doubt, people are going to show up. Nothing wrong with that. Introvert moment, yes. Hi there, Jake. Drakey. My show is on. I'm a show. Vesper says, man, and I'll be at work, so I'll be missing the first one. Apparently, it happens once an hour, though. I'll probably watch it once, maybe twice at most. And look, yesterday, or was it the other day? Me and a few friends, well, actually, me, Matthew Sunseeker, and Vesper revisited the old Foralities. Forality Silva and Forality Aqua in particular. Let's just say something that's like 3 years old is like gives you goosebumps compared to what I'm experiencing here. I mean, there's nothing wrong. The production value here is good. The stage is great. It's very on theme, but I why don't I feel the magic, chat? I hmm. it's the only time I really got goosebumps was when I was on that train ride. Remember when you go into the dealers then? You go into a train. There's nice music and everything is on cue, right? And then you go travel and then it's revealed to you that you're in the clouds with balloons and everything. Balloons which I am absolutely disappointed in realizing that you can't ride them. I thought you could like at least go to the balloons. You're in balloon A, you're in balloon B for your like, friends are in balloon B, and then they would float. And then when they're close, you can like wave to each other. Hi there. They really missed an opportunity, didn't they? Or at least have a perpetual train ride. You're on the train of dreams, right? You're traveling along dreamland. And then it just goes on loop, and then you have the conversations inside the train. But no, that's it. The train should have been the entrance on the lobby. That's true. I, I'm sorry, man. Look, when people pay money for these things, I think they have a teeny tiny chair in which I'm sure they can voice out their criticisms about said event. mm, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I wish there was more magic in something that is absolutely magical theme. Uh, uh, hmm. Oh, why if it isn't Mechatronic Dragon? Hi there, good morning. You are up rather well. It is like 7:30 a.m. Your end, right? It's 5:32 a.m. here. God, I'm starting late again. You know, looking at my outfit now, I look like either of two things. Either I look like a pastor, yeah, bless you, my child, or I'm like, hello, Batman. Some bootleg Joker, except he grew like furry ears. A wizard outfit. Yeah, that works too. Not very professor. Oh, I'm the professor that blows up stuff in the chemistry section of the class. Maybe that works. So yeah, what are you doing this morning, Mecha? What is it, Rapukin? You can't sound like Joker if he was a scientist. I hold no candle to the great Mark Hamill. Not even close. The game is going to penalties, so I will stay on the penalties. Penalties on what? Pause, Moss, or tails, cutie. I, as much as I am an advocate of good oral hygiene, like brush your teeth multiple times a day, scrape your tongue floss, water floss, and everything. There's something about the beans. It's a 50-50. It's difficult. Mm. I I think it has to be like the teeth. Definitely has to be the teeth. Because what do you look at more in a person? Do you look at their hands or do you look at their face? So that by logic makes me choose a moss, doesn't it? Or whatever reason you're asking. Tails are. Think about it. Look at my tail, for example. Do you realize how often I have to dust the damn thing each time I stand up? Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Rice Dragon. Please tell me, are you Asian perchance, just like yours truly? Vesper says, I almost thought you were going to say the non-TOS version of the Joker. I was tempted. Thank goodness I took like a hard right. Hi there, Sammy. I am in Forality Somna, a online convention in VRChat. Probably the only con I'm going to attend. Why? I don't have to worry about hygienic and logistical difficulties. When I say hygienic difficulties of other people that apparently don't shower prior to going to cons, don't know the concept of deodorant or anything, or the concept of personal space. I was at a public instance yesterday. As much as the intentions of the people around me were good, there was one, two, or maybe five or more people who were very much, quite literally, up in my face. I was like, okay, so they're small and they were sitting in front of me, and they were like in a lying down position on a couch, probably given their character's orientation. So imagine their thighs and their crotch was in my nose, and I'm like, I was visibly leaning back already, like, yeah, hi, hi. They could not take a hint. I was persuading myself hard that, Gab, you're in a public instance, just do as the Romans do. But that it quickly hits a limit. Meeting you in person would be cool. I ran into a lot of my viewers yesterday, apparently. It's really flattering, if anything. It really is. Who would have known you guys would spare some of your attention to watch content from me? Where are you from? I am from the fabled, trafficy, absolutely humid and hot lands of the Philippines. It's it's terrible at the moment. Also, it's stormy season. It's been raining cats and dogs since the other day. Uh, Not the good kind of cats and dogs. Either one. Then. What time is it? It's 5:38 a.m. my time. I feel like I'd hear your voice across a con floor, immediately recognize it, and respectfully ask for a picture. You know what's funny? That actually happened a lot of times yesterday. It's like, hey, hold on. I know you. You're from Twitter, aren't you? You're from Instagram. You've been flooding my FYP. Uh, is it okay if I take a photo? I'm like, sure, yeah, of course. I was like, God. Again, flattering. I might actually fall asleep. You know what's funny? Because this is actually a sleep world. So that's not very off from the objective of this place. If there was a balloon ride, I'd be on it. And that's where I'd invite all my friends. So I would go converse with them. But lo and behold, we don't have that. I wonder if next year's team would be a circus team or a clown team. A carnival one. That would be fun. I want to sleep, but loneliness hit me. I miss you all so much as Axiom. Axiom? I'm just here. Just send me a message on Discord and I'll reply to the best of my ability. Hello, Hunter. Why are we behind you? That is what you call cinematic camera angles. I think. I haven't slept since 4 a.m. yesterday and I feel fine. Enjoy it while you have the energy to pull off such feats. Hope you're enjoying the con so far, despite the hiccup last night. Ironically, during the how many hour outage was it? Several hour outage that VR chat experienced, I was actually fast asleep. Here I was conked out, just enjoying my nappy time. Reem says, I'm at an age where I would fall asleep if I sit down for 15 minutes. I know how you feel. That's like, I only want to go out of the house out of necessity. Back then, I would find excuses to always, hey man, you want to hang out outside or something? Want to grab some food? Like, yeah, meet up at 3? Cool. Now it's like, what? You want me to go out? What am I gonna get if I go there? What for? Can't it be something discussed online instead? I have chores to do. I have stuff to do. Yeah, good luck, have fun, and enjoy. If you want me out of my apartment, you have to give me a good reason to. Drink! Yeah, alright, sure. So a stretch, and a drinky. Trigo says, lucky you, it happened right as I ended my shift, helping run Club Fin. No VR for me, but you know what? Props to Club Fin. That's actually the most technically impressive light show I've ever seen. Maybe I haven't been to Rave Worlds. That's why I'm so impressed. What, I forgot what they call it. There's this, Matthew Sunseeker told me the term. This like really nice IRL, like rave show thing. Ah. Can we get that avatar? Asked Frog. No, you can't. Why? Because it's me. Why would oh, you want me to rip my face off and place it on yours? God says, I've been sleeping for too long and watching him flip a coin and this music. I'm asleep again. Good night. And good night. Matthew, what did you call the Club Fin again? Tomorrowland. You called it Tomorrowland, yeah. You sound so much like me. Chat, I'm gonna give you a rough estimate on how old I am. I am above 27 years old. I'm 27.1 days old, yeah. Him reading my comments makes me smile. Good night and sweet dreams. Got creepy core. Come on, close my tab. Don't doom scroll. Go to bed. Born in the 20th century. Does that technically make me 80s? Ooh, my, that slipped out. Not important. You have the age you want to live with. I identify as a 27-year-old perpetually. Oh, did you just assume my age? Oh my, I'm gonna write this on Twitter. You're so dead. Yes, I'm mocking you, snowflakes. Grow a spine, come on. Can we go back to the time when the world could take jokes? Ryan says, I can't sleep right now. I have a massive fever. Oh, go rest, silly. Don't wait until your phone like falls on your face. And then you're gonna have a fever and a bummed up nose. Thank you, Doris. I got an exam tomorrow. I need to chill and watch live. So I'm just gonna be like lo-fi Gebas just doing that. Looking up every now and then. I'll see you around, guys. Why, hi there, Seal. Risky says, I'm doing my design 6 plans while watching your live. It feels like I'm listening to some cozy radio story. Well, design? It designs? What's design 6? I assume that's a typo. But if you are, how I imagine, working on anything I assume is hand laid out. Like I used to work on hand-drawn animation when I was still in my animation classes. Architecture. Oh my goodness, good luck. So you're the type of guy to have like the big old like scrolls on their back filled with the rolled up parchment holding your grades. Your drawings, yes. I had an architecture friend before. He always brought around his like letter T instrument. It was like a triangle with a ruler in the middle. How is your avatar so realistic? Ask Coffee with 3 messages bordering on spam. I, One, it's Royalty's fantastic face tracking collaboration work with who made the Volper. Two, I tweaked the blend shapes a little bit, well, the shape case in Blender a little bit to better suit my needs. And three, I added eyebrows, which was, well, that was clearly lacking from the Volper. CB around is playing Chrono Trigger. Okay. Hi there, Timo Gamer, Ivan, and who else did I miss? Uh, DM Man, Max Orange, Q, the T Square. There we go. Yeah, the T Square. Oh my goodness, who just dropped? I cannot see. I cannot see because my VR chat window is cropped. That not cropped anymore. Huh. There we go. Put this here. Put this there. Frog is actually the one who sent the coins. My goodness. And I was borderline rude to them. Let me expand on your question then. Why can't you get this avatar in particular? Very simple answer. It's because it's not for sale. If you want something this close, I suggest you go buy. Excuse me. You go buy the Hyanid base. That's my body, and then you go buy the Volper. That's my hand, and then the Nova Beast. So you have rights to use like the goggles. So yeah, and then as I've said, I just kit bash these things together. Nothing fancy. It looks animated, but it's not. It actually isn't. Don't worry about it. Oh my goodness, my tail is like stiff. Forget it. Will you picture me in an owl fursuit, Gab? You with a bird head. Yeah, of course. I think that would be cute. I think you can pull it off. I bet the kids would absolutely love you. It's like, oh, Mr. Owl. Mr. Owl, my teacher, they gave me a star today because I'm good at spelling. That's how I imagine it to be. Vesper says, aren't your claws Nova Beast claws too? Yes, actually, they are a slightly altered Nova. But, well, they're inspired by Nova Beast claws. These are like custom at this point. Kura, that's flattering. Hold on, let me just. There we go. The little joys of school. Getting a star could make my day. Same here. It was absolutely encouraging when a teacher would be like, you did great, Gab. Can I see you for 5 minutes? Like, hey, on this test, you've done exemplary compared to your peers. And then, yeah, something like that. Oh, my goodness. We have a bunch of rainers today. We are being graced by Lit Teos. I call you Teos. Or Lit. I think Lit is easier. So what brings you here, guys? What were you up to? I didn't know this was a stick up. But yeah, chatters of Elite. What was your beloved streamer up to? Were they playing VR chat? Were they playing a game? Or perchance another activity? Toast says, Mr. Owl, how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I bet Mr. Owl would know the answer. Lit says forality. Just like where I am. Yeah. Except I bet you were in a place with much, much, much more people. Speaking of people, we have Contigo dropping in. They did. Hold on, let's wait until he arrives. Theos is fine, and yeah, we were checking out Ferality. Well, I hope you guys had fun at Theo's stream. And also, thank you again for the raid. I appreciate it. I would give you an SO, but I don't know how to do the command. I just see other people do it. So yeah, chat. Oh, hi, Contigo. I'm chatting with the invisible viewers I have in front of me right now. It's all good. We can actually talk about Contigo here a little bit. Okay, come on, Contigo. You need to be seen. Why? Because you took a video of me before. He's a little camera shy, I believe. Anywho, right. Contigo pulled me out by the arm, I think a month or so ago, and it was for a showcase that was supposed to be for Ferality. Unfortunately, they did not hit the bar, but I think it was absolutely good. It featured a bunch of other people like Hyro and I am absolutely terrible with names, but yes, a lot of other people. Hi, what was the thing again? What were you working on again last time? I forgot.
I mean, the video itself, or
Yeah. In one sentence, sum it up. What's it about?
I mean, it was just an interview, and I wanted to showcase different answers, like how people interpret dreams and memories. And yeah, so 3 questions, completely 3 different answers, and yeah, it was interesting.
There you have it, Chad. So yeah, Contigo over here. I think Contigo deserves a bit more love and support with the effort they're putting into their content creation. Really,
I didn't want it to interrupt. I feel like
Oh, it's all good.
I'm not
It-
supposed to be here.
Oh well, I'm just doing a very short stream. If you're curious, I'm just trying to pass the time until fireworks, which is in 6 minutes, I believe. I wonder if I can see it here. Given that it's in the lobby. Yes, chat, the sky, the wide open sky with a giant thing over there. 7 minutes for fireworks, says Matthew. Ah. I could be right behind you and you would never know. I don't know. I'm in a public instance. I cannot stop any of you from showing up. But please. Behave if you show up, okay? No, non-TOS stuff. Yes, Contigo, what's up?
So the fireworks are in completely different instance.
Oh, so I'm gonna miss it. Okay.
No,
Alright.
I mean, it should be,
Every hour,
but
right?
it opens up in, but for me, it says it opens up in 1 hour.
Oh, is it in 1 hour? Not. Okay. I guess I got the schedules
I mean,
wrong.
I could be wrong, but because the schedule changed because of the outage yesterday and everything was like delayed. For
That's
me, it
true.
says 1 hour. But
I guess we'll
I
find
don't want
out.
to say anything wrong.
So it's either now or in 1 hour then. But it doesn't matter, right? It's a recurring thing. You can see the same show even though the first one passed. I think I'll just wait for that. Also, Frog, thank you, and you're goddamn. I love you. Please don't become controversial. What do you mean? I am anything but. Oh, wait. No, I have rather strong opinions, right? About overtly sensitive people, but that's it. I just ask him to have common sense and like roll with the punches instead of being offended about every little thing. But aside from that, I don't really have any controversial things. You go to my Twitter, there's nothing there. There's no NSFW stuff. There's no real left or right vocalizations on anything. It's just pretty pictures and and videos. So yeah, Contigo, where are you heading? Oh, don't let me hold you back. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Apologies,
I
not
should have checked before.
Nathan. It's all
Okay.
good. My fault. I didn't update my status. It's okay.
I'm just gonna join some friends and yeah.
It was
wonderful
nice to
stream
see you
and
again.
a wonderful fireworks show as well.
Bye, Contigo. Catch you on a more opportune time.
Yeah, take care.
See ya. Oh. Yes, Felix. Yes. What's that? I'll find you myself. Oh, hold on. Kitami, are you? What are you staring at? You've been staring at something for the past like 30 minutes.
Just watching. I didn't know you were streaming, and I was originally coming here to ask you a question, but I saw that you were doing stuff, talking to invisible people, so I realized, oh, we might be doing a video.
Yeah, Schizo, confirmed. Yep, I'm crazy, chat. Talking to invisible people. Hi, Kitami here. Sorry, about the late introduction. Kitami here has been my friend for over a year. I've been in their company since Forality of last year. And funny enough, we meet again today. So yeah. So what was your question?
Well, I was gonna ask because I thought you did recording. I didn't know you did streaming, so I was gonna see. I want to record the fireworks because I don't know how to do that, but I don't want to interrupt your stream, so I'm gonna wait till after you're done.
Simple. Bring out your camera, right? In camera mode, make sure you set it to stream. And then, what are you using to record? OBS?
Yeah, OBS.
Yeah, so in OBS, all you gotta do is set it to game capture. And then in game capture, you set it to VR chat. It's very important to have your camera mode on stream so OBS sees what's from your camera. If you don't have it on stream, it's gonna see it from your eyes instead. It might be very shaky if that's the case. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, so it wasn't really like staring at something. It's interesting to watch somebody actually, doing, a stream live. So thought it was kind of fun to watch.
Watching a crazy person talk with voices like other people can't see. Yes. I see what's amusing. Yeah, all right. Well, good luck with the fireworks. I think I'll go pop in during the next one. Let's see.
Yeah, I thought they were also, happening now, but it might be an hour.
Yeah, it should be rotating every hour.
Okay, well, I won't bother you anymore. Bye.
Oh, just go ahead. I'll catch up later, okay? See ya, Kitami. Bye-bye. Come on, chat. Say bye. Well, he was a cute fellow, wasn't he? He's one of the friends I have that... well, he's a plushie. And he does such a great job at embodying the character, really. Looks like a cactus. He was actually a, if I'm not mistaken, he was a squirrel with 3 tails. Yes. Squirrel with 3 tails. What were you?
I'm getting ready to leave. I'm
Hi.
doing another instance, but I heard you saying, "Yeah, I'm a kitsune."
Oh my god, I did it wrong. I'm sorry. When I see you, I think of like Conker's Bad Fur Day. So, I'm sorry for the reference. There, we got corrected, chat. We got corrected.
Sorry, I was
Kitsune.
in the middle of leaving when you said that.
Go, good luck. See ya. Have fun. Damn, I got it wrong. Oh my goodness. That's it. Yeah, I'm closing the stream. Yeah, let's go back to our viewer there. He's a squirrel. Oh my god, how could I mess that up? There's so much for calling myself a detective, huh? Well. It happens. He's like a little gummy bear. Yes. You know, chat. If there's one thing about Kitami, I heard the once in a blue moon that he broke character, I almost dropped my controllers. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. You know the Dark Knight? You know Bane when he breaks Batman's back? Yes. Matthew says the page is updated and it's at midnight, Gab. The fireworks? Fail now. Oh, hi there, Ion. I didn't see you there. So how's VR chat? Having fun ever since you made some Southeast Asian friends? Your entire body movement is using VR. Yes, actually. It actually is. As you can see, I can cross my legs and whatnot. Hi there, Global Rosebud. What? Okay, but for my position, I think I'm gonna stick with how I am. Bad life advice says, would you advise wearing my tail in public IRL? What happened to my layout, by the way? What the heck? Enlarge. There we go. Sorry, chat. my thing messed up. Anyway, would you your tail in public? Well, a smart person would of course scope the place around them first. It's the equivalent of should I wear a deer mask in a forest full of hunters? Right? If you think you're in a relatively safe place, then go ahead, do what you want. Within acceptable parameters of risk, of course. I told you we need more glitter. Glitter. Iriko says, please, I want to meet you. How about after stream, you guys, I will reveal the instance that I'm in. How's that sound? And then we can all say hi, hello. Yeah? I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you until you love me. I'm going to be lurking for a bit. Go ahead, Fire. You just enlarge my thing. A teensy tiny bit. Are you a dragon of some sort? Asked Talsis. Yes, like a feline-looking dragon. Not a kobold. Sup. I unfortunately cannot read Korean, so I have no idea what your name is. Are you a dog? Please, no. No, I'm not. Oh my goodness. Did Ion ever reply to my inquiry about how his VR chat experience is? I was having concerns after reading what they posted on Twitter and their status on Discord. They were craving for something in particular. It's like, You have deficiencies that need attending to, friend. He's clearly a guinea pig, says Coolmatch. I am absolutely half hamster, half guinea pig, Chad. The bluest and blackest one. How long did this royal look take, Sir Gebos? You look like a true prince. I've 15-20 minutes tops. I just downloaded the Ferality asset pack. I recolored part of my coat, the inner sleeves and whatnot, the collar and this thing. I put on some of the stickers front and back, as you can see. And yeah, that's it. 20-minute passing grade homework. Have you ever had such a big nostalgia moment you fell asleep? I think so, yeah. Whenever I'm about to drift off into sleep, I also drift into nostalgic moments in my life. Often it involves a vibrant sun, wind blowing across grass, and times where I didn't have to worry about bills or buying my own food. Good night. Have fun with the fireworks. Like, good night, Ryan. How do you get one of these? I want to go live and look like this. One, you go to YouTube. You type in YouTube, how to be a VTuber. Using VR chat. That's the best advice I can give you. No, I'm not being sarcastic. That's how I started too. Hi there, Honey. Man, you know, earlier was the Dealers Den meetup. I wanted to drop by and say thank you to Lindy personally. Why? Because I use Lindy's coin so much. And the other content creators, if I could. Maybe not one of them because I'm actually exiled. The one who, with who made the goggles? Are you in VR? Yes, I'm in VR, and yes, this is face tracking. Man. Hi there, Rumble. I accidentally put my friend in the hospital. How? And I don't know how to fix it. Any bad life advice? You pretend that nothing happened. When they wake up, you ask, hey, what happened to you, man? And in their confusion, they will clearly clear you of any suspicions about being the culprit. Bad life advice here. Oh my goodness, I saw my chat window flash blue from none other than Kairos. Kairos, thank you again. I appreciate it. Gosh, what makes you want to throw coins towards my way? No, really, like, I'm flabbergasted that I'm getting continued support. I guess we have a few people remaining on TikTok who appreciate non-brain rot content from time to time. Geb, I sent gifts. Thank you. A quick question. Go ahead. What is your inquiry? Not gonna lie though, the face tracking is too clean. There's such a thing as like too clean. I'm actually gonna go to bed with the stream in the background. This is actually so soothing. Good choice, because I'm not the type to suddenly like play soundboards and other startling things on stream. I just keep the relaxing monotony of me uh, yapping on. Thank you, Max. I'm sick and tired of my best friend of 7 years as school munch. What should I do? Bad life advice. It's simple. Confess to them. Tell them you like them more as a best friend. And surely that will spice things up. Bad life advice, Chan. You know, I'm still waiting for said question, right? Ah, not I was expecting, but okay. Trust me, if you're starting to get bored with the friendship, that's all you gotta do. Say, hey, you know what? I've always loved you or liked you. I'm sure whatever gray clouds they have in their heads gonna be like, wait, what? Hi there, Hikaru. Sergeant Anderson says, Geb, I'm glad I found your streams. I'm done with TikTok brain rot. Listen. Not discounting the other content creators because I too surf Instagram's rather humorously abrasive side of things. He did say he'd do. Oh, there you have it, Cool Munch. Vesper says midnight. I keep forgetting the time difference between Matthew and I, but I wouldn't be mad about staying up to watch the fireworks. I will be in VR chat for the next 2 or so hours. I'll probably be waiting until I can view the. Also, Foxy, thank you for the roses. The roses, God, the interface is so small. I will be in VR chat even after stream. I will probably be doing the impromptu meet and greet. If you run into me, then yeah, hi. I will also be sharing the instance that I'm in public before I conclude stream. I will most likely spend time with friends if they're still awake. Given Matthew, though, I think he needs to rest given that he has a job waiting for him this lovely Monday. And of course, darling Vesper, she can't be lacking of company now, can she? Ion says I have to hop on, but I have IRL. You know, Ion, you didn't shoot that friend request. Would be hard to keep track of things. IRL, huh? I always assumed you were working at home. How do you get the quality of your stream to look so good? Ask Honey on hot dogs. You know, I actually tried honey barbecue sauce on hot dogs. It was good the first 2 bites. And then I kind of got sick to my stomach. But anyway, to your question. 1. Go to a world in which you can consistently run 60 FPS or above. That's pretty much it, if it's in terms of smoothness. I think a lot of people have become unaware that once they're in a world with like lots of people, your frame rates, they tank. They really go down. That's why whenever I stream, I have maybe a guest or 2 at max. Maybe, actually no, the most I've had is Mecha, Mystic, Vesper, and myself in one go. I think Axiom was there too. Brocode says, I'm going to head to sleep as today was pretty stressful and I'm tired as hell. Have a good rest of stream and a nice fireworks watching. I wish you nothing but the sweetest of dreams. I love the smile. And okay, thank you. So I think I did send a friend request. You did? No, you did not. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. 13 hours ago. Damn. Wow, that's a lot of friend requests. I don't remember who most of these people are. Oh well. Art fans asking, is your character a dragon or is it some type of animal? I am what you call a mix of things. But in all honesty, I'm closer to like being a foxy dragon of some sorts. I have my big old bushy tail on the left, and I have your standard issue beans, claws, very humanoid hands, and the face of yours truly that lacks any real feline or canine features like the nose. My head is closer to reptilian than it is furry. I hope that answers your question. That really got me. I don't know what got you. In what manner? POV that PS4 turns into an airplane and you're trying to play a large. A mix of many things, but still 100% cute. And here is Vesper with the flattery. No, you're cute. What's this? I don't even speak English in case I go. Good luck. Made me giggle, I see. Cool Munch says, Gebus is the internet's charming dragon fox thing. Just dragon fox thing. There has to be a way to shorten that. I wonder what? A Drax? No. Paragon? No, there's already something called that. Then again, my ears are more finicky than foxy, given their size. A Drox, says Lucreus. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, random itch on the shoulder. Anyway. A Drox. A Drox. A Foxen. A Gib. There we go. Hi, I'm Gebus. I'm your resident dragon fox thing. Fiber says, holy, it's almost an hour now. Why does time fly while I'm watching your streams? I don't know, actually. I'm surprised I even have this much viewers. You know, I was actually hesitant about going live tonight because I imagine most of you are like here in Ferality, enjoying your time with friends, enjoying the festivities, the dealers den, and whatnot. But I also forget that the vast majority of people didn't exactly buy the tickets. I just got in here for free, thanks to Matthew Sunseeker sponsoring me a general pass, and I appreciate it truly. So yeah. Fennegon. A Fennegon. No, whenever I think of a Fennec fox, I cannot disassociate the Fennec foxes from being lanky, more effeminate looking creatures. Neon, I'm from the Philippines, in case you were curious. Thank you again, Matthew. I'm gonna lurk while I wash the dishes. Water services finally came back. Oh my, there's a water outage? That's terrible. Mag-igib ka ng tubig. Mahirap na. I heard that fennec brains are so small that they are unable to be unhappy. Clearly a ludicrous rumor. Nothing but hearsay. Oh my goodness. From Prince, now I'm Lord. Oh, please. Very flattering with the titles. But nothing that I would keep. I wonder how the fireworks are. Am I the only non-ferality fireworks stream there is right now? I should probably take a peek at Firefox. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm just gonna stay here where it's nice, peaceful, and quiet. I maybe stand up and stretch. Maybe that's a good thing to do. Hello, world. Let's see. How does Spin Tree look? Oh, what do you know? You can see my back, chat. Oh my goodness. My coat really makes me look like I'm wine. It's so bad here. I actually like it here when it's quiet. Man, I wonder when I can sit down again. In a bit. I do have to stretch my back. Well, that's it. Poor Gab. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you are. You're a charming internet cat, fox, dragon, fennec thing. Chat, alright. If we really need like a proper species designation as to what I am. Technically, the easiest thing is a chimera. But calling somebody a chimera is a very broad sweep. A chimera is a mix of like other pure species. My God. Okay, got it, TikTok. Why do we need a label for the species? Like, because a lot of people have been asking, like, Geb, what sort of animal are you? Or what are you? Period. Then again, I could just say, hi, I'm Geb. Geb is getting old already. I suppose. That's not incorrect. Packview was such a villainous ship. I have been drawing for the past 3 hours as cool munch. I hope your art is going most fantastically. When somebody asks what you are, just say yes. Fireworks, huh? How many minutes until the next one? 34 minutes. How about I go skedaddle when that happens, yeah? I am curious as to what the light show is going to be. Yeah, what happened to the subscription thing you're working on? um, give me more time. And then I'm sure we can get that up and running. Make this known to the web, says Sergeant Anderson. Geb possesses his own custom species, known as the Geb. I don't think I can claim that because I'm I'm a mudblood. I'm a mix. I'm a mongrel, chat. Can you believe that? An outcast from the Nova Beasts. Not quite a Volper. Not quite a Hyanid. Oh, woe is me. Good morning. Yes, I am, Kenji. Hi. Lucianus Argentius. Redeemed hydrate. Somebody wants me to drink. I wonder where is my juice bottle. Hold on. There we go. Fantastically procured. Don't mind me chatting. I'm gonna drink. Oh my goodness. Chat, if and when you do figure out where I am, it's actually not hard if you have a brain. If you figure out where I am and then you show up, I politely ask that you keep yourself well mannered. Don't say or do anything that's not TOS. And please, observe a little bit of personal space, okay? Or else you're blocked. Hi there, Gus. Getting a little corner vibe from you. Because of your flipping, says Lelu. Hi there, Flame. Welcome back. We can only visit Forality if you do. I don't think it's a donation. They just sell the tickets, like outright. What I really like is that you say it as it is, Gab. Of course, I like being truthful in front of people, within the limits of being courteous, of course. Such as I would appreciate it if you would remove your presence within my proximity. Thank you. Hand. Clench. Flip. Catch. He's not seeing my chats. What have you been sending, Novax? You say it in such a polite manner. Of course, that's the least I can do. Hello, 13. What is being removed? Oh, nothing's being removed. I was just simply given an example of my courteous delivery of words. Can you see with the glasses on? I can very much see. If you look closely, you actually can see my eyes. What's your best advice for a kid? Don't try to grow up too quickly. Enjoy it while your world is still full of color. At the same time, I do want kids to grow up, at least in the maturity courtesy department. So many kids nowadays are clearly lacking in discipline. May we meet in VR chat. After my stream, I'm opening a free for all meetup. Yes, sure. Not right now, though. Gab, could you try speaking the British accent? No. I don't know how. Ooh. There we go. We're starting to have more people in the instance. I really need to find a way to change my stat. There we go. Oh, wait, no. I swear it's not working. I'm gonna do it in VRCX. VRCX, come on, buddy. So how do I change that? Social status. Streaming. Updates. There we go. Finally. Where is it going to be? Well, I'm going to tell you what instance I'm in. When my stream ends. Yes, there. I'm not gonna say it now, of course. Just asking because he sounds like he was speaking British before. Hello, okay. Man, goodness gracious. Speaking of goodness gracious, I wonder when Mecha's gonna drop by here. Driver says, anyway, I'll go lurk a big chunk of time. I literally have to make bread for an assignment for my career, so it's going to take me a whole hour. Go ahead and make your bread. Happy birthday, Bina. Go share some of your cake, won't you? Vesper says half an hour until I'm free. I guess I'll be seeing you within an hour. A lot of people mistake proper enunciation for British. I don't mind their head off. Oh, I'm not. Worry not. Us Brits mock each other's accents. Yesterday, I went to a punk concert and got a free pack of bad things you should not smoke. Cool much. Max says I was looking at your pinned videos on TikTok and it really made me laugh. All the common questions. It's the things I have to deal with, yeah. Oh, what's this? Farewell, friend. Good luck at work. Message me when you get there, yeah? I also found a world called Cosmos, says Vesper. You can relive the years of getting into your mom's make-up. You know what? My mother, she's an actress. A very prominent actress. She had an entire room where she had a massive dresser. Drawers, enormous mirror, makeup here, and a whole other long hallway just filled with all of her clothes that she used for her movies. And another whole room that was probably 100 pair of shoes for well, the necessities of her acting career. Of course, when I was young, I would play costume, and when I was young, like 5 years old, and go fiddle around with her makeup to much to her chagrin. People always think I'm British, yes, jewel box. It's probably because I am. Up there you have it. Mm. What's this? How I spent the half hour between me waking up from my nap and your nap, Gib. Didn't stay up after I was supposed to go to bed. Good, I'm glad you got the amount of rest that I told you to get. Also, hi there, Alishka. Welcome to my stream again. I set 11.3k likes. That's insane. And thank you. So you were mashing the button like 11,000 times plus. I hope your thumb is not sore. I am from FI, Finland. I was gonna say fuel injected, but yes. Fine. I'm moving here. TikTok keeps on crashing for some reason. Okay, back to washing the dishes. Not exactly the most convenient aspect ratio for somebody watching on a phone, Ion, but here we are. We work with what we have. Elishka says, I needed a moment of relaxation and calm, then saw you were streaming. Always feels like coming home. Welcome home, Elishka. I'm from Fuel Injected, the greatest country. I do love Fuel Injected over like the neighboring old archaic carbureted country. I'm sorry. I tinker with motorcycles, so whenever I see FI, automatically what pops in my head is fuel injected. Fuel injection, actually. I love the colors. They're so pretty, says Fenrir. I appreciate it. I like keeping things simple. Latvia is the best country. Isn't Latvia ruled by Doctor Doom or something? Unless I'm misremembering. How dare you not like the people of Carbureted? They're awesome. It takes a while to calibrate them properly into efficient working condition. But true, an old carb bike is just different. It's good. The good old carb bike that I've tried that I liked is the old Honda CB400, the Super 4. The older models, obviously. Oh, so smooth. Lord Gebus. Lord, here we are again with the Lord. Gebus has the most relaxing voice. I'm surprised Geb doesn't do bedtime stories in audiobook. I'm working on that. Don't worry. You guys can subscribe to it once it's out. Of course. You have a Bandit 1200. Max, don't ever let go of that bike. Dax says, car carburetors I'm fine with. Bike carbs I hate with a burning passion. I'm so happy with... the fuel injection is so much more convenient. There's no flat spots if you like tune it properly. Unless the whole Euro 5 emission crap can be omitted. But yeah, FI is just so much more convenient. It was my father's. I look after it now, and you shall pass it down to your descendants, Max, if you have any. Hi there, Wolf. Hey guys, I want to visit Fuel Injection one day. I too have a lot of friends from Fuel Injection. I think Toivo the Truth. One of my buddies is from FI. Are you one of a kind with toothless? No. Old man Giuseppe says, my brother has a friend who was 99% sure Greece was an island. I remember Greece being like in front of the ocean, but that's a new joke with Lord Geb. Now the new nation of fuel injection. Okay. I'll see you around, Timo. I'm not a Night Fury. Come on, do I look like a Night Fury to you? Just another guy sitting by a bench in an empty place. Well, maybe not emptiness. I see another person streaming up there. I see him. He's using the same strategy as I am, going into an empty instance so it doesn't lag as bad. So yeah. What kind of dragon are you? Yes, that's what I am. Ignore the TikTok notification. Okay. Smelling something particularly incandescent in. Yeah, I say combustive. What is that? My neighbor's like burning plastic again. Ugh. What and where? Your neighbors burn Oh, yes. You see, my apartment is right next to a private home which has a yard. And they often sweep the leaves and other rubbish into one pile. And it's commonplace in the Philippines to burn your trash. Which, honestly, I don't like being around. I hope I'm just missmelling things. You need to escape from the Philippines. That is a prospect that is highly unlikely. Man, I'm debating if I should get another hour and a half of sleep or just power through. Isn't it monsoon season there? Yes, it actually is. Make a GoFundMe. A GoFundMe for what? I mean, I'm always accepting of money, sure, but I need a compelling reason in order to really post one. You should get some incense, Gab. Maybe some sage and remove the smell of burned rubbish. Funny enough, I actually have some sandalwood incense that I can just go light up. Move out of the Philippines. Help Gab migrate. I've probably like a $200,000 goal. Philippines. PHILIPPINES. What face tracking do you have? It's so good. This is the Not Valve Deckard. I'm just joking. It's the MetaQuest Pro. Philip Beans. Seal got it right. Project Babel. You know, I actually have a Project Babel kit. I've tried it. Let me say that the face tracking is leagues better and different compared to the MetaQuest Pro. If you see it compared to like what I have right now, you'll probably be flabbergasted. But, but, why am I not using it despite the hardware just sitting on my table? It doesn't work that well with my facial features. So it has good tracking, but it's inconsistent. The good thing about the MetaQuest Pro is it's absolutely consistent regardless of the angle, the lighting condition, or anything I do. Oh yeah. Also, who's on Discord? Let us see. Hello. You know. Sorry, I'm replying to a DM. Matthew sent the message. Don't forget to send the party invite, of course. So who? In media, somebody. Oh, it's Seal. First time playing VR chat. I did not know one could watch Twitch. Why are you in the gym? The pool. Okay. Streaming. ATM. Will drop by to say hello later. If you're there we go. Can you say a sentence in your mother tongue? Alright, sure. Hold on. Alam nyo, kadalasan napapaisip ako kung gusto ko pa rin talaga mag-stream sa TikTok. Ang daming kasing bobo. Ang daming Mati-TOS tayo pag sinabi ko yun eh. Pero yung mga squatting dyan, please, just swipe up and manood ko na ibang streamer. Greetings, Reed. I haven't blinked for so long. You need to blink, Novax. Water na viewer. Kadiri talaga. Tangin. Jesus. Oh, right. Hi, Ion. Oh, my lighting seems to be messing up here. Anybody got a translator for that? I said that sometimes I hesitate streaming on TikTok given the rather disappointing quality of most of my viewers. Can you bark? Can you do a backflip? Can you do this and that? That's dumb. Are you toothless? Oh my. Shia Fox says, I've returned from my epic journey. These are the results of the question. Pause 9, Moss 5. This looks like I'm the minority. Oh well. What can we do? Stretch. Oh, looks like I moved backwards. I need to lock my position. There we go. Oh, Reem, don't Don't. No. Can you do ba? No, no, I can't chat. Oh, hold on. I need to reply to my Discord again. Let me see. Virionic. Send me a FR to be sure. There we go. I'm eating pickled sunflower seeds. Pickled sunflower seeds. I mean I eat sunflower seeds. Like it's nice just taking my time taking off the shells and it's salty, but the pickled ones. I'm good, cup of cocoa, just passing another evening. Well, morning. What's new? A lot of them have the brine baked in, says Kendall on the pickled sunflower seeds. I see. Why is there Discord links being posted, Novax? Please don't post links on my chat. Anyway, it is all. What do you know? It's almost the second round of the fireworks. And it's just been 1 hour and 30 minutes. I wonder which one I'm gonna catch. Maybe the third one. Shouldn't be as crowded. Is that a new fit? This is my Ferality Somna outfit. It's nothing fancy, just... There you go. So you can see me, because I'm sitting a bit left. There we go. Better? Virionic would like to be your friend. There we go. The master of making music videos in VR chat. Still really debating getting a nap now. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. I totally forgot Ferality was going on until it was too late. Too late? I mean, it's never too late. Oh, the Ferality fireworks show is about to start now. Should I abandon my post and thread in a public instance? Now, yes, it's starting in 5 minutes. You're the captain of the ship. You know, here's one thing I have to tell you guys. If and when I drop into a public instance, expect my frames to go down. You know what? Alright. Maybe I can join an empty one. Okay, events. Alright. Where is the fireworks? I don't see the fireworks. What? Where did it go? Sorry, I'm in the I am in my forality schedule thingamajig. I can't see it in the sky. I can't see it either. I just got the invite. That's the thing. I don't know if I need to accept, but oh god. It doesn't end till later. I might see if I can pop on. Yeah, go ahead. Far over the misty mountains. Oh god. Should I chat? Whew. Remember, the schedule is still being moved around after VR chat went down. Maybe a holdover. You know what? I'm going to wait. That seems like the smart thing to do. I'm going to wait until it actually starts, and yes. But judging by my plummeting viewer count, I think most of you are actually looking at streamers who is there during the fireworks event. I mean, like... It's in the lobby, yes. I'm also in a quote-unquote lobby instance, but I don't know if it's gonna be here specifically. If nothing starts in 5 minutes, then... Well... I think it's global. Yeah, sure. I hope so too. We'll find out in exactly 1 minute. Let's turn on the world volume, maybe hear it. No, it says lobby fireworks. I'm just gonna wait. Anywho, still clear skies ahead. There's nothing going on, as you can see, even if I pan upwards. No fireworks here. Oh, another DM. Orality. What's this? Luxiana sent me a link. Oh, okay. There we go. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Please give me an empty instance. Yes, there are empty instances. I am going to join the Japan one with no people in it. Please let me in. 15 people. There we go. Perfect. There we go. An invite has been sent. I'll see you on the other side. Did you know that you can actually mix chocolate and gelatin together and you're gonna end with something that's like chocolate pudding? It's rather sweet and it's mostly sugar-free. Don't discount adding fruit juice too, if that's what you fancy. What other tips can I say? Did you know that you can actually turn water into ice? Just put it in the freezer. Very convenient when you need like something cold. Here we are. Oh my god. I hope it's empty. I really hope it's empty. Where am I? No, it's not
Oh,
empty.
fucking hell.
Oh God. Oh God, I'm gonna go to my chair. Yep, here we are again, champ. Well, it's like nothing happened. Hello, tail. Wanna bend to the left? There we go. Am I lifting up? Well, here we are. We're in a fireworks instance. I still don't see any fireworks. Huh. I mean, it should be time, but alrighty. Well then, let's go back here. Let's put it here. Let's set it up so if any fireworks decide to pop up, we can see it. Oh, you know what's missing? The giant fox above isn't there. So, I guess that's something. There we go. That's Luxianas. I see. Oh, Matthew is here? Of course, Matthew's here. Kendall. Okay. It looks like most of my viewers have found where I am. Well, congratulations, Jen. Let's remove that nondescript border over there. Ban it here. We watch, we await. Here we go. Nope. Okay, Kendall. No, Bax, you come. Please don't spam my chat. Come on. Well, not seeing anything blowing up in the sky. I'm gonna turn on earmuff mode for you. Your safety, champ. I cannot, from this point on, I cannot assure TOS things are gonna be maintained, okay? Again, I am in a public instance. There are people around me, and the vocabulary might be more varied than you're used to. I found it via Virality Discord. It's not a scheduled event and it repeats every 30 minutes. I see. Well, I guess we're waiting, huh? Notice there's actually a lot of people about. My frames are starting to drop. Oh my goodness. Hope you're well, of course. Thank you, Sandor. 0.2 distance, yes, that's true. Mm.
Oh, just same with it.
A very long noodle decided to grace us with their presence, champ. Anyway, so where were we? I suppose the show starts in a few minutes. It doesn't help that I'm also like hungry at the moment. Let's see. Oh gosh. So many people starting to show up. I'm getting DMs. Ooh, attack from all fronts. It was pushed back an hour. We do apologize for the inconvenience, but they are still happening. So I'm gonna stay in this instance, and then Right, gotcha. I guess we're waiting, gang. Also, if we look a little bit here, doesn't it seem like I'm streaming in a Christmas themed thing? Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody. Never mind, I look like a homeless bum during holiday season. I'll harass you when the stream is off. God. Hi, there's Lance. Merry Gebmas. Don't expect gifts from me. You know what? That's the funniest thing that I'm actually going to do. I'm gonna put a sign. Right? I'm gonna put a sign and then like a cup with change. And then when you click the cup or something, it's gonna go to your exclamation point tip. Maybe we can get $1 or two. The gift is that you are here with us. Flattery. Well, I guess it's just regular programming for the next 52 minutes until it starts, according to my informant, Luxy Anus, over there to my 2 o'clock. 1 more hour, right?
20 minutes.
Oh, half an hour. Okay, got it. Gabos reminds me of a Calmer. Ooh, well, trust me. If Derv is a hyperactive supernova star, I am nothing but the waning moon over a sleepy night. Lux popping out of nowhere is hilarious. Yep, chat, the impromptu meetup is starting. I'm jumping around trying to get on the towers around me. I know, I can see stuff happening. I see you, Matthew, and Howler is within earshot range too. Man, my butt is starting to get sore sitting on this hard bench. Why can't they put benches with like padding or something? Anyway, where were we? What's in 20 minutes? Well, a big old show apparently. Guess we gotta wait and find out what they have in store for us, don't we? Yeah, I'm sorry for spamming, but I sent you a request. I will look into it after. Ooh, there we go. It's starting to hiccup. Oh dear. I have my global lighting on. It's gonna illuminate everybody. Let's see how it works. There we go. Now it's dark. A bit better, right? I think the warm lighting is better.
There's a at the entrance. There's a sound effects gentle or explosive sound effects.
Really? Oh, okay, sure. I'll check it out later. I actually want to hear the fireworks. See you, Nanaba. Wegu says, I wish I could attend Virality, but I don't have a VR chat account. That still counts, you. Oh, you mean you can't link your ticket? You do know making a VR chat account is free, right? Love the new code. It's very nice. It's It's definitely fit for the pajama party. Ah. Well, it's not like it's a problem that's unsolvable, Fuego. I know you can do it. Ludo is asking what I'm waiting for. I am waiting for the fireworks show to start. Just passing the time. I see people running to and fro. I see Matthew and his bro. Who is that? Who's in the instance? Stumpio, Howler, Woofa, Firing Spony, Lux, Kendall, Fook, Ooch, Delta Ops, Grazux, Bore, and Matthew and me. Alright, fantastic. And then yeah. Should I eat? I'm getting hungry. Oh my goodness. It's actually breakfast hour right now. And I am absolutely not filled with breakfast just yet. Ion says I'll hop on probably 8:30 local time. I do hope the fireworks is still in session by then. I hope so too. So an hour and 15 minutes until Ion drops by. Okay. I'm happy I popped in your stream last week and you mentioned virality. I probably would have missed it otherwise, says Lance. I'm glad you're able to make it then. Feel free to drop by. Like, when. You feel free to drop by, period. The people going into this instance is definitely beyond my control. That is Luxianus crossing like a tightrope walker. What the? What? Hello, USB? Oh my god, persistent. I don't know what instance you're in, so many. You can always just follow. Yeah, what instance am I in? I will come to the next virality, says D. Good. Hi, D. Where the hell am I anyway? I am in instance. I'm not gonna say it, but I can see the numbers. The last number is 6. There we go. That's my biggest clue. If I say any more, you're gonna know which instance I'm at. Hello. There's nothing going on. I'm just. Yep, loitering. I'm so tempted to just kick up my feet, but okay, you can't see it in this angle. Ah, there we go. Oh, that's so much better. Is it visible? Hey. Hello, Astron. Oh, it's not good. Let's keep it that way. It looks weird if it's like visible. So let's zoom in here. Here we go. As you can clearly see, there is a lot happening in my background. People crossing to and fro, probably finding an optimal for said fireworks viewing. Matthew says, "The tree behind you blocks my
The tree
view of you,
behind you
boss."
blocks my view of you, boss.
Damnable tree. Oh, there you go. That's a massive skip for because the number of people is starting to grow and my system can only handle so much. TikTok can barely see anything in the background. Just the perfect portrait of you. Which is the whole point. Uh-oh. No, there we go. That's my trigger, sir. My triggers were crunchy for a moment. That's not good. What's that accent? That's a Gambus accent. Fine, I'll zoom out. Okay. Just want to see me sitting. Okay. Wow, my waist tracker keeps on grinding up. I can't say my name says hello. You really need to work on like having a nickname or something. It's quite a nice night out, huh? Yeah, because it's quiet. Thank goodness VR chat you implemented something called earmuff mode. It saves us with like sensitive ears and absolutely low social batteries from crashing out. Fuego says I finally got my AC installed into my window today. It'll be the mid 80s for the next few days. Sounds like you're gonna have a rather hot set of temperatures to contend with. But now you are beating it with your AC. Yeah, but I hope you're having a great day. Novax, come on. If you keep on going with alts, I will have to do drastic measures. Oh, it's 104 degrees Fahrenheit out right now. How many is that in Celsius? Unfortunately, I deal with 0 being freezing and 100 being boiling. I'm installing my AC today. It seems like a lot of people are installing the magical box that cools things. Yesterday, my AC gave me a bit of a scare. It seems like whatever speed sensor my fan was using decided to not work for a good hour. So imagine, the speed level of my AC is like from 1 to 5. But because it became unregulated, it was blowing at a speed of 9. Like, it was so loud and so strong. I was worried it would come apart. It sorted itself out somehow, but it doesn't have the badge of reliability anymore to my eyes. Man, ACs are expensive too. They're like $600. Or more for the inverter, yeah. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me, you know what? I'm gonna post it in the Discord. My lobby chat, to those that wanna go say hello to Geb, is alright. No, I'm not gonna say it aloud because TikTok might troll me. Wait. I'm gonna post it in general. 0. What the hell is it? Oh, there we go. That's the digits. To those that wanna say hello, I have posted my lobby instance over at my Discord. Hi there, Sugar. What's this? Fortunately, the instance cap on the website is less than a quarter of what the world cap is, so we should have no more than 15. Oh, it means I can say it out aloud in chat. Chat, if you want to have a chance of dropping by and saying hello, I am at Fireworks 0407. There you go. Do a little bit of detective work for the last digit. Which, if you have keen ears, you would have heard that earlier. Oh, no wonder I have like a bearable frame rate. It's probably because of, right, the 15-person instance cap. So, yeah, there, feel free to join if you can. But, know that the place doesn't really accommodate a lot. But I would be glad to see you guys and say hello. Yep, there you go, Fuego. Dr. Nightingale says, luckily the boys don't want food, so I don't have to go out in the lucky you, being spared the effort. Valt, oh crap, sorry if I ran in front of your camera, says Valt the Zero Fox. Valt, you look absolutely fantastic, by the way. I wanted to compliment you, but it would have been awkward hearing something nice from a man speaking to invisible voices that nobody else can see. Your resident crazy guy. Detective, do you have schizophrenia? Maybe. At this point, probably. Yeah, but only a few more weeks, until you go visit my country, huh? Good luck. Again, bring summer clothing even though it's like winter time. 100% if you buy a new AC, you get an inverter you will not regret. 100%. I'm using a Panasonic inverter too. Valt says, thanks, I appreciate it. I didn't actually show you. No, you were in this one specifically. I didn't even know you were in chat. Where did you go? I go hunt you guys later. Chat, unfortunately to most of you, I'm going to appear as like a black boy. That's how I not stand out. There's a whole bunch of people there. Sahul locks us the fountain fairy. There's Matthew up in the tower, and yeah. You know what? How about we go pan our thing? Fly speed. Hi, chat. That's me. Alright. There. You have a better idea. Yeah. And there's Lux. Come on, let's give him a feature. Why? Because he gave me information. This is the Fountain Fairy. Yes, very gremlin, very gonna take your gold. And then we're going to look at the Grand Palace. Definitely not something that is inspired from Aladdin or anything. And then we move on, we see more people there. Let's see if we can have a good zoom in with our flyby camera. There we go. Of course, there go. They're waving. Hello, chat. That is Valt and crew. I think Kendall is there. And then over at the tower, are those people? I can't tell. Those are people indeed. That is Matthew Sunseeker, and that is Howler, who still has no clothes. God bless the soul of this naked individual. And who is that on the right? Looks rather, Okay. So there you have it, chat. Where else? Are there other groups hidden around? Seems like that's it. Oh yeah, chat. Hey, I actually do have clothes now. Unfortunately, Howler, I was not able to discern any based on what I've seen. Yeah, that's them. That's them by the tower. Let's give a one more zoom in. Let's see how that works. Or we increase the flight speed. So we're gonna go here. Oh, that's the maximum my camera can go. That's what we can zoom. There we go. Does Howler have clothes? Nope. Does he? I cannot tell. He still looks very much naked from the chest and the leg. No, I think I see it. Well, whatever he says that passes for clothes does not look like clothes. We have Matthew here representing the Middle Eastern segment of the furries. Inshallah. There we have it. As you can see, most Nova bees from the desert lands, the Middle East, as they say, wear their scarves as bandanas instead. Oh, whoa. Ooh, that's a big VR chat hiccup. Hello. That is what you call a VR chat quake. What the heck? Anyway. Bring our camera back, shall we? There was a huge lag spike, chat. I'm not sure what caused it. I hope everything's okay.
Wait, the music just changed.
What? The music changed? Is it time?
Yeah, it's 9:30.
Let's turn down my jazz chant. Ooh. Well then. There we go, chat. Is that all? More. Is there going to be an encore? There definitely is. The fireworks isn't a one-time thing. It's Going to keep going for a while. So don't worry about missing out. I'm sure you'll see the magic again. Stars. Oh, thanks, Lux. Might be it. That's it. Yep. Oh. It's converging. And thus, a countless number of souls were sacrificed to the unknown heavens above. Oh, absolutely. I can't wait for you guys to see this in VR. Ah. Oh. The stars are falling. It sure does, doesn't it? There. Sorry. A better view. Yeah, chat. That's the fireworks. The fireworks compared to last year. Well, this one definitely takes the cake. Ah. You can see, chat, it's not just me. Get a good pan in. Oh, wow, my frames, what happened? That's really bad, whatever they're doing. I'm down to 18, chat. It's okay, Vance. Take your time. What's going on? My frames are now at 14 and going down. Is it? Oh, don't tell me there's like a memory leak. Oh, I'm back. So it was the thing. Well, as you all saw, that was quite magical, wasn't it? That's it. Story. I didn't expect it to go on for so long. Same here, Max. I really like the music. Excuse me. What now? Well, that's it, chat. Just joking. So, with all that being said, the fireworks being concluded, at least the first round of it, I suppose meetups are officially open. Hi there, Reed. Is that you? Oh, it is Reed. Hi. And in all viewers, friends, and acquaintances, feel free to drop by my instance. I am removing earmuff mode. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see you in
Earlier, but it was fall.
in the flesh, dear man. Is that why it's
Yeah.
Reed? Because it's oh, it's just dear. Alright.
Yeah. Yeah. very, very creative.
Oh, it's deer backwards.
Yeah. I'm sitting down right now. Also, I never actually got that model I textured in.
No, I thought you got it done.
I got it textured, but the person who was helping me out, like, they only like showed me the texturing like one day, and then I never got any more lessons from them, and I didn't know how to put it in. So
Did they drop you midway in the tutorial?
what was it?
They dropped you midway in the tutorial?
Pretty much, yeah.
Goodness. How could they do such a thing?
Exactly. I mean, it was really fun learning how to do the texturing. That was really fun. But oh, how does that work? Flying around. I'm not in VR chat enough to really know a whole lot of things.
It's okay. I'll see you around, Ivan. There you have it, chat. That's Reem. The hell's playing in the background? Why is it so?
I'm gonna explore around.
Yeah, go ahead. No need to stand by here. Coming down, boss. Yeah, go ahead, Matthew. Sure. That's virality, huh? We've been to the meetups. We've been to the lobby. We've been to the dealer's den. And now we've been to the fireworks. I expected more magic from the event. But... Alright, there's also the club. But I'm still sorely disappointed that my train request, or rather, my trains were not met. I really wanted a magical train ride around the clouds, around the pavilions and whatnot. Also, at the very least, they could offer the balloons. And just you and a few friends floating around the venue. That would have been really nice. Magic in what sense? I guess it's the sense of awe, the sense of wonder. It's not really. I guess I wasn't as impressed compared to Forality Aqua. Did you know the other day, me and Matthew, midway of exploring Somna's lobby and being mildly not impressed by it, we went back to Forality Aqua, yeah, the map that's still available. We walked out of the cave, we heard the resonance of the crystals, and then all of a sudden, wow. And we got goosebumps. Here, the only goosebumps I got was from the little train thing heading to the dealer's den.
I love that moment.
I love that moment too, and I was expecting that to be just a taste of things to come. But that was it.
You got the bedroom and then to lay in bed.
Yeah, I'm like, that falls a bit short. I wonder if I should join an
This is the
instance with
closest I've
more
gotten
people.
to experience Aqua.
Really?
My first one was Umbra.
Oh, last year. I was there too last year. It wasn't. It's really hard to spiff up essentially what's a wasteland, a desert in the middle of a very hot
The
planet.
best way to describe it, unlike Aqua in this one, which was an experience, Umbra was more like a concept art storyboard.
It's a
kind of.
concept art storyboard thing. It's pretty on the outside, but it kind of, I don't know. It feels like Disneyland. It's like, yeah, it's pretty on the outside, but where's the soul on the inside? I guess I also really like the theme of before, where everything's just different planets that you could see from like telescopes and hints in the world. Now, how does this fit in? Maybe I haven't explored the lore of this world as much.
You haven't done any of the translating, have you?
The alphabet, I saw some of it, yes, but I didn't quite piece things together. Do you have a better explanation?
one of the stories that's often printed on one of the chalkboards is about a traveller who first experienced Somna for the first time
Yeah.
and how he wished to go there again.
All right.
One of them was a bit dark from memory. Something about hell or hellfire or something, I can't remember.
Oh, I missed that note. All right.
Oh, it's starting again.
Hi, Matthew.
Hello there. Again, I don't see anything. Or hear anything.
Is it?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's been half an hour.
Wow, it's just gonna be on loop. I am not gonna stay here the entire time because that's gonna hurt my. Oh, I can mute the world, right?
Maybe the audio will be synced this time. Oh, hang on, I just realized what happened.
What happened?
Hello. Hello. How's it going?
Oh, it looks like Mecha's about to hop on
Pretty
too.
good. Yeah. You know.
I bet I look like crap to your eyes, Matthew. I'm like dark as heck.
My headset just restarted.
You look very dark.
I look very. Oh, you said that with a hard R. I heard. Oh my God, Matthew. Chat, can you believe, Matthew? It's because I'm like, my skin is
Come on.
unbelievable, unbelievable.
my
Well,
God, what the fuck?
you pan the camera over Howler and you see him naked.
The naked
Tom,
chat.
Yes, he's actually wearing a suit right now.
That does not look like a suit, chat.
No,
He's wearing a suit.
Do you have your shield or something?
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. My
See?
goodness. I was
Oh, you
wondering
see?
why were you
You see?
naked?
Huh?
Yeah, what am I? What do you...
Oh,
Chat, this is Matthew Sunseeker. He's been a long time supporter of my streams, and you finally get to see him in the flesh.
oh,
finally get to see the place.
freaky OER.
This is Howler. He used to be naked and really shiny. Now he's shiny and not so naked. Let's take a good zoom in, see how it is. That's the shiny article of clothing. It's the bun. There you have it, chat.
Here, we'll give you some
An
fun.
actual not femboy Rexonium. A miracle. That is Reed. Reed has been sending a lot of stuff to me on TikTok. Thank you, Reed. And this is
I've been saying, oh,
Luxianus. Stupid pronunciation. There we go.
Lucianos.
Luxianus. There we go. It's got to have a bit of flair to it. hmm
You know, it used to be spelled with A-N-U-S, and people kept calling me Lucky Anus. So I had to.
Oh my god.
And that's why we don't call Lux that name anymore. Why am I playing the goat music when I'm introducing my friends? Wait.
Actually changed my name too. You actually that changed the case.
Uh,
my original name was Soup before this.
Soup.
Just S-O-U-P.
Would have been the
It
only
was just
soup.
soup.
Was there a
What kind of
particular
name is
flavor of
soup?
soup, at least?
No, it was just soup. It was just plain soup. I mean, I think it was technically like chicken noodle soup, but no, it was just soup.
Go
Donald?
to the next aisle.
Get out of the soup pile. There's more soup.
Get out of the soup aisle. There's no soup.
It's what I have my email as, my second email. Just soup.
Bean ham soup is
Such
one of
a
my
soup.
favorites.
Yeah.
Actually,
Tomato soup
that
is
would
one
be
of my
interesting.
favorites.
Can't believe Matthew is being like that. What do you mean, Max? He looks absolutely fabulous. He's the epitome of style. He breaks the social norms. Scarf as a bandana? If anything, I'm impressed.
They call me Prince of Persia.
The Prince of Persia, chat.
Yeah, they call me like that. I'm not
The
actually
Prince
kidding
of
you,
Persia
actually.
and the dishes of time.
You
You resemble Prince of Persia.
Yeah. Vesper says, if you want this username, I was Sappy Gubu for God knows how long. Why I was obsessed with Halloween and maple syrup when I was a kid. Pumpkins with maple syrup tears pouring out, I can imagine. Sorry, I'm talking to my schizophrenia right now. So. Yeah. Yeah, only I can see you, chat. I'm the only crazy one here. Yeah.
Well, you did think I was naked.
I'm gonna turn you back to being naked. So let's put the shield back out. There we go.
He's really
See?
looking at you naked.
There you go.
No, you're naked.
There you go. There's a good trial.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
are you not
you
meant to
are
be
meant to
naked?
Sorry.
naked.
The dementia's
Oh,
kicking
they
in.
have a sweater on. Oh, they have a sweater on too.
Oh, Reed's not really. Reed's not naked.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh
He's
my
naked.
goodness!
He had to- I
There
guess
you
it was-
go.
I thought they were
He's
naked.
He's just seeing everybody
and his
naked.
colours changed.
He's seeing,
True.
he's seeing what he wants to see.
There we go.
I don't know what I look like. I haven't.
Basically,
VR chat. I'll let
Only a little
With
crazy
down-
game
with the
says
shield
Val
setting
Zero.
on, you look like you've just got the turnlit shader and no clothes. But then when I show you, you've actually got some proper lighting going on.
For some reason, Matthews, yours, and Geb's avatars are like really pixely.
Because we're fallbacks.
Imposters.
Yes. Oh yeah, imposters, right?
So
You have to
basically,
enable our avatars, Reed.
Yeah. So
I look
VRChat
absolutely not
has
stunning
an
as a
inbuilt,
imposter.
Like rasterization, blah, something. So basically, it gets a vague idea of what your avatar looks like and keeping it quest friendly. But obviously, it's very glitchy because it just looks at everything and then just condenses it down. It's basically going,
Yes.
some cheap hack going, here's my PS5 model, and I'm going to make that and try and make that into a PS1 model.
Yeah, no,
Sure,
that
you
makes
see
sense.
me- I'm sure you see me as like a whole white Nova Beast. All
No,
white.
I see you as a. I mean,
What
yeah,
does Matthew look like in
normal
Shield?
gray, white.
Yeah, my imposter is all white, I think.
Oh no, it's still you.
No,
Oh,
Despite
yeah.
everything, it's still you.
except
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
pixely,
Just
but
depending on some people's shield settings, what
to go
will
pan
happen
over
is
to
it'll cut out
people I
special
know
lights,
are
but for some reason they'll keep,
lurking
like,
way,
their face
way
emission or
over
something.
there.
So they'll just end up being this one solid, like bright light white or something because that's all. And it's like yes, because that's
There
what I
you
want
go.
to see. I want to be blind.
Yep. I wonder what's happening. Let's look at the camera. I see big fairy man touching the head of what looks to be a bird.
you figure out like controls and stuff. I believe there was like sitting.
Wild over there is.
How do we get to it?
You know who that guy next to the Nova Beast with the hat looks like? He looks like Hercules after drinking like the god serum. He looks absolutely divine. And the one on the left, I cannot see their names because they're all bunched up. I can't read any of it. Sorry, hello everybody, you're
You'll
beautiful.
probably want to stand yourself up before you do it, because otherwise it might, like, try and. Oh, or just lay on the ground.
There we go.
Will you look at that, chat?
I guess I moved all over.
Oh yeah,
Trying to be a Roomba.
you can generally lock your positioning. You can generally lock your positioning as well. I wouldn't go to the second tab if you've got that version.
That
They tend to be a
version?
bit more risque.
Oh yeah, no, I found.
Oh, the one with the radial. With the radio. Right.
Yeah, where you can go. Wah, 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 wah. Wait, what is it?
So yeah, chat, this is how I interact in public instances.
Yeah.
Good old crisscross
Wah,
applesauce.
wah. I'm just doing
Pardon
yoga,
the crap.
guys. I'm
Oh
just
my
doing yoga.
gosh, Luciano.
Oh, it's just yoga.
Jeez.
Oh no.
I can though.
I go.
think the yoga.
Oh, totally fine. Totally not schizo.
I do have virtual desktop, so I could use my computer right now, but I don't want to set that all up.
Laziness.
I don't know. I don't know how long I'm gonna be sticking around.
My
I'd
virtual
never see you out in public.
desktop's being annoying. Yes, I love my screen being black.
Sure can't make it private, so here we
Over here
are.
bugging people.
Hi.
Hello.
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 Alright, that's ban. And some more people show up.
Oh,
I have certain qualities that might be annoying. May or may not be.
let's see how many people follow etiquette and not get in front of
I am already getting scared.
Troublemaker.
I didn't realize when I first joined the instance, I was waving to Gib, and then I look at my phone and I see me barely in the corner waving. I was like,
Oh,
shoot.
generally stuff like that's fine. It's the people that
Yeah.
sometimes it's willful ignorance where they'll just stand in front of them,
Yeah.
and then people will try and tell them, "Oh, you're in the camera," so they'll move slightly to the right. It's like, no, you don't get it. Move.
Funny.
20 meters down.
Be- Kindly look at your menu.
There we
You'll
go.
hit the settings, and then you'll see. a
I am
power
absolutely
button.
incandescent, chat wave.
Yeah, it's funny as I was actually starting to go there. Look at my menu.
No, I've inadvertently found a lot of content streamers, and I was
There
just
we
like,
go.
oh no, I'll treat it like people at a FurCon or stuff. You want to be like, hey, how are you doing? But then like give them space, not be in their face. That doesn't seem to translate to many people in VR.
It really doesn't. Yesterday, there were many people in my face. Literally. On my face. Yeah, Matthew, the
It's like,
sitting on.
there's a difference between coming up to someone, giving them a pat on the back or something,
That's what
and then
happens.
just being like,
with
oh my
video
god, you're so
VR.
pretty, you're so
Happens all the
pretty,
time.
and now I'll just stay here.
Yeah, precisely.
Today happened the same
Oh, you
in the
moved-
Wicker
oh, you
Days.
moved
No,
away,
it
let
wasn't
me-
the Wicker
you
Days.
moved
It
away,
was the
let me get
Dragon
closer.
meetup. People with
No, you just
massive
wait, how do I
wings
make it
just
so like
flapping
people
in
don't
the face.
disappear when I get too close? 'Cause
Hi there, Alex.
Disappear for a second. I'm like, where did it go?
Delicious.
Settings,
One of them was
Yeah.
this
the
guy
big,
right here.
the big menu.
You know,
Yeah.
That's not true.
How do I?
should
under
I close
comfort
the
and
stream?
safety,
It happens. What if I just lock myself up in a bunker?
No,
Comfort,
no,
safety,
I should be fine.
personal
Just
space,
keep it
and
running.
There we go.
Yeah, personal space.
Figured it out. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how personal space is like the opposite of what you want, because if people get too close, they suddenly disappear, and it's like, great, now they're in my face and whispering in my ear, but I can't see them. That's exactly what I want.
You said you've been to FurCons? Have you been to any in the? I assume you're not in the US, are you?
No,
God, my
unfortunately,
butt.
I've only been to the Australian ones. The party
Mecca would
hard
want to
ones
join you
was-
by all means, Mecca.
That's fun.
2 million.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Australia. Just like,
That would be
cool.
cool. Mecca
But
has
then again,
Mm.
I don't really have
Mecca
much of a
has-
reason to
Mecca
like,
attitude.
really any place to go to.
Yeah, I need to send him an invite.
I would actually
Once.
like to have a house that's like underground.
See. Ah, he's not in the party.
We're doing choreography to that music now, yeah. What is over?
I have.
No, I mean like you keep the debt collectors out because it's a bunker.
If
if
they
you
want to
just
join, they
duck
need to
them
go
while
to
the
the
main
panel
event's
of
wrapped?
fireworks, and they need to open the instances, and they will see you. If as we are in the same party, they
No,
will
no,
see
no.
you
I
in
mean
the
like
party, and they just join.
we can post them.
Unfortunately, Mecca isn't in the party. Lots of friends here, and I'm in a public instance. and-
Figure out how to
Oh,
join.
there's fast
This
brain.
is actually the first day. I'm
Well,
actually.
So you will have to send him the number of the instance.
you've done better
so
than
you are in,
most.
and that's it.
Got it.
You just need to go to-
47076.
Yeah. You'll
You
just
can
need to
search
go
it,
to
you can
fireworks
Make
and
leather
instances.
clothes.
Just join.
from their skin.
Yeah.
Yes, size
That's probably a good thing it's a low cap instance, because that way Geb doesn't like crash midstream.
That's true.
You're in the phone time.
I understand. I'm trying to fix this.
Yeah, you are legless now, right now.
Oh,
Hello, love.
hello.
Hi.
Hello. You're looking lovely.
Ah, the
Yeah,
current
but you only have to do it right
Wow,
once.
you did really well. That blend shape works perfectly.
That's all thanks again.
Hi.
Damn. Wait, did you get the Somna asset, the Dreamweaver garment, to actually
Okay, so we do have some instances.
This is actually free. The outfit. This is actually free-fitted to the Lunaby, so it's just a drag and drop.
Yeah, but does
I
that
just made
include
sure
the
that
garment around the waist?
Yeah, why are we not at this
Came with it.
Drag and drop, Vesper. You're managing the avatars next time. I'm editing shit for you.
The outfit, I mean.
Yeah, sure. It's so easy. Drag and drop. Who did all those operations, punk?
I'm not degrading any of your work. I'm just saying they look good because of you.
Geb made it so all you had to do was drag and drop.
Yeah, this is Vesper. As you notice, her outfit is rather different from the usual field one that she has. She also very much sits like a guy with enormous jewels, hence the wide spreaded leg posture.
It's comfortable. What do you want from me?
There you go, Chad. Vesper stitches as always. Yes, she is a striver, yeah. Yeah. Big, giant, steel, intelligence and IQ. Oh, hold on. It seems Mecha actually managed to join, chat.
Hello.
Why, there we have it. Greetings. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, that took me a while to load in.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Hi. How you doing?
Shiny. Hello. May contain traces of robots, dragons, and space chickens.
Yep.
Alright.
That is a true statement. How you all going?
We're doing okay.
Amazing.
I know chat is curious how I actually interact with a bunch of people. And now's this chance for you to see. Here. Oh.
I don't see Vesper's main avatar. It's just like some little.
Sorry, I
What
couldn't
is
say
that?
hello earlier, but hi, Mr.
High
Beasley.
five.
It's got a capacity.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
unfortunate thing of being
Oh
on
my
Quest.
gosh. Also, good morning. I
Wait,
am
is it you
mostly
virtual
moderately
desktop?
awake.
I do, and I should probably get that going, but I'm scared that I might
Oh
lose
my
spot
gosh.
in the Nice. So there's still
How are you?
12 out of 15 people.
Had good dinner?
Probably switch over.
Hey,
Okay.
we have to see people.
Yeah, sorry, Marin's in the room right now, so.
Ah, I see.
High five.
I love how
I
we
do
all
alright
kept the
now that I'm
spot.
mostly awake.
We were like, no.
So all I'm saying isn't much, but fair
I
enough.
think I did.
So, TikTok, sorry, it's hard to fit everybody in frame.
Oh my god.
So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do the smart thing and turn off the TikTok chat. TikTok, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Let me just totally not
I feel
Not
in the
ditching
first
you.
day, everyone looks at Dropper.
At least
I'm gonna
you
put
know
on
that
the
I-
hoodie.
I-
Bye,
guess
TikTok.
actually
You can see me on the other side. You know where.
That's
Yeah.
important.
I don't know what people are wearing.
Yeah, even it just for a little bit.
I was wearing my usual. I was wearing my usual fishnet
you're
and
good.
pants, but I and normally the harness is separate, but I kept it on for Somna and added some audio link to it.
There we go. Now it's only
Oh,
Twitch.
yeah, exactly. That's like with the finish.
Low memory disabling two features.
Oh yeah.
Popping up as. Alright, let's see here.
That's only your job.
Oh man.
Because I changed this new
Oh, yes.
Wait, virtual
I'm
desktop.
glad everything's back in function.
Yep. Hi, Mecca. How are you?
Oh,
Correct.
I'm alright.
Oh, Zlans! Hi, it's been a while. High five. I'm glad you could make it. This is very difficult to frame. There, better.
I just kind of got a wobble and move.
I've just abandoned my Nova form for the time being.
Why are you naked? Oh. Wait. Right. There we go. My bad. So there's Lance. Lance is not naked.
I remember what that was about.
Hello. There we go. Good banning shot.
He's very energetic for 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I gotta kind of shuffle around.
Yay, best
Wake
for
up.
smile.
That's true.
Oh.
Yay! Get, what is this lack of smiling?
Huh?
Why are you frowning?
I'm frowning.
Why are you frowning?
You see me go out on this bit?
Not frowning.
There we go. We'll just skip Vesper. Well, Vesper just make him smile. Oh, my
That's
vocal distance is wrong now. I'm trying to take a sweet photo of the tour.
I don't appear so dark no more, don't I?
Yeah.
Not super dark. Oh. Well, with that being said, chat, I think it's also time to conclude our stream here on Twitch. You've seen the fireworks, you've seen my friends, me, myself, and that crowd. Last call out. If anybody wants to join the instance, this is 040676, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, it's somewhere there. I will be in VR chat for the next maybe hour. And yeah, thank you for joining stream. I hope you enjoyed the fireworks and whatnot. I will catch you day after tomorrow. See you in chat.